In a beauty world filled with short-form, fast-food-style content, it's hard to find a chef. Someone who actually knows the ingredients and how to use them. Enter Robert Welsh. With years of experience as a professional makeup artist and a no-nonsense attitude toward trends, techniques, and the industry itself, Robert brings more than just opinions. He brings expertise. Whether he's breaking down influencer hacks, reviewing the latest launches, or reminding us that makeup has no rules, but it does have theory, Robert built a loyal audience that trusts him to keep it real. In this interview, we talk about the state of the beauty industry in 2025, which brands are getting it right, which ones still frustrate him, and what makes a brand actually stand out in today's oversaturated market. Plus, we'll dig into the influencer effect, founder-led brands, and how Robert feels about the current state of beauty on social media. This isn't just another beauty chat. It's a discussion of honesty, artistry, and what really matters in the beauty industry today. Let's get into it.
The exact thing was, are you going to contour my nose with a fork? And I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. Why would I do that? Because I saw it online. I'm like, that's so weird.
Welcome to the channel, Robert Welsh.
Thank you.
I know my audience is going to be so excited to see you because we have a lot of cross audience, a lot of people that watch me, watch you, and hopefully vice versa. So I know everybody's going to be so excited to see you.
I'm so excited to do this. I love watching your content. I love how researched you are. It is insane. I'm like, I'm going to do a deep dive, and I do like a paragraph, and you're like, no, I'll just go through someone's whole life.
I think there's place for both. Sometimes people just want the information like in a quick, concise way, and some people want like all the details. So I think there's place for both. But you do a fantastic job too. Like in the beginning of my Too Faced video that just went live, I had to reference the beginning of your Too Faced deep dive that you did, where you were talking from a makeup artist perspective about the situation. And I think that's something that's needed as well, is that makeup artist perspective, because a lot of us do not have that perspective. So it's really nice to hear that.
And while I was behind the counter at Saks, I just started destroying every tester in the department, trying to create these things that I thought Fran Drescher would come in. She was going to the Emmys. You should stand out. You should wear this. Or I got craft glitter from the store and I would chop it into a blush, and I was just melting things in the microwave and bringing them back in those little like Tupperware cups, you know?
Here's my issues with V's story, right? One, your manager is just like, yeah, you know, use anything from anywhere, mix it all together, even though you're trying to sell products on counter. They're like, yeah, take anything you want that you've mixed up in your kitchen and bring it in and use it. And then, you know, use it on someone's face, which is meant to lead to a sale. What are you going to do? Say, yeah, take these products home and mix them together in your microwave. Not going to happen. Especially at that time, people just wanted, you know, their makeup, and that's it. They weren't experimenting. The average consumer anyway. And also, you're mixing all these products together that haven't been mixed together before. What if your customer had a reaction? It just wouldn't be allowed. In my opinion, that's my thought process. Imagine you're on a counter and someone's like, yeah, use all of these, but actually, this is what I made at home in my kitchen. I mix it together in a microwave. Like, you'd be like, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Yeah, and that beauty retail perspective where half his stories came from, I was doing this on counter. No, you weren't. Are you kidding me? You would have been sacked.
Yes. And there have been people in the comment section commenting the same thing, that they worked at an Estee Lauder counter around the same time that Jared did in the late 1990s. And they're like, oh, absolutely not. There's no way that happened. So,
no, absolutely.
But as somebody with a larger platform, it's great that you're able to get that information out there. And I think that's something that we have in common, is we are like die hard for the truth. We just want everybody to know what's real.
Right. Sometimes to a fault, where it comes across, well, especially with me, it comes across as sometimes quite angry and quite, what's the word? Like arrogance. But all I'm trying to do is tell people the truth about what I found out. Maybe save some people some money on the way. But I think one thing that's changed a lot in beauty, in the beauty space on YouTube in general, is going from tutorials and all this kind of stuff. As much as people still love that and still want that, makeup now is more than just physically applying it. It's about knowing the brands, knowing who you're supporting, knowing what their ethics are. And that's where people like you come in when I do my videos that are a little bit more about the brand, it's important to know that stuff too. And people do need, in my opinion, need to know the truth about those kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And I think some people, there's different deal breakers for every single person. So I think
100%.
with
Yeah.
us, it's just about giving that information, and then people can decide what they want to do with it.
Exactly. It's up
It's
to
up
you
to
if you
them.
carry on. Yeah, exactly. But here's the information. Don't say we didn't tell you. You know?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And people call me arrogant all the time as well. I don't get it. Like that's
I
never been
don't.
part of
I
me.
sometimes just blame the English accent, but
Yeah.
there
No,
must be another level.
I think it's just when we're imparting information, I think sometimes it comes
Yeah,
off as like know-it-all,
sure. I
but
can see that.
but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, but that's the whole point, is that I figured it all this stuff out and I'm telling it to you so you can
Yeah,
know it all too. That's the point.
exactly. We're
You
gonna
know,
be arrogant together.
exactly. And now you can be arrogant. Like, good for you. So being a makeup artist and
Mm,
being on the platform and putting out all this information and seeing everything that goes down and having worked on counters and everything, when you see things going down on the internet and you have this background knowledge that you know other people do not have,
yeah.
what's something that like really frustrates you that you wish that people knew, but they don't know because they just don't have that background knowledge?
The one thing would have to be that there's a fix for everything.
Mm.
So online, there seems to be, you're having this issue. Well, I have the answer. It's like, no, you don't, because no one does.
Yeah.
So there seems to be different things work for different people, of course. But the one thing that really irritates me is that there is an answer or a way to perfect everything. And in real life, when you're walking around in real life, when your lighting changes, the atmospheres you're in, the temperatures you're in changes. It's not in one controlled room. There isn't a fix for everything. So as
Yeah.
much as we see online, and then we start to blame ourselves, or you start to blame your makeup artist. Oh, but I see a line here, and online they said you can do this. Well, you can do that online, but in real life,
You know
it's
what
not quite the same.
that reminds me of the concealer triangles that
Mm,
everybody was doing. I remember watching Jaclyn Hill back in the day and watching her do the concealer triangles, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it looks so gorgeous on her. Like, I have to try
right?
that." And
And
I
you
would
did it in
do
real
it,
life.
and like I looked like I
It's
looked,
the
and I thought
same.
it was my fault. I thought it
Right,
was
you
because I
blame
was
you
doing
like,
it
I just
wrong.
don't have the face. I'm doing it wrong. I'm too young. I'm too old. I'm too textured.
Yeah.
Listen, like it's not the case. It's not the case.
It's because
Yeah.
her under eyes look like a baby's bottom. They're so smooth down there. And I think
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
people don't have that. Most people have some
Yes.
kind of indentations or creasing or
Face.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's a really important thing to share, and that just because someone has a fix for them or they share that there's a fix doesn't mean that that fix will work for you specifically, because there's so many other
Right.
factors involved.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it really does bleed out into real life.
Yeah, and I bet your brother James goes through the same thing with skincare.
Oh, the things people say is, it's why I started YouTube in the first place, because I had clients who were like, aren't you going to do this? Aren't you going to do this? I'm like, where are you getting this information from that you're asking me to do this to your face? It's just, it really does spread.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So that was how you were inspired to start your YouTube channel, was because you
Yeah.
had clients that were telling you ridiculous things and you're like,
The
"I need
the
to tell the
exact
world."
thing was, yeah, the
Wow.
exact thing was, are you going to contour my nose with a fork? And I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. Why would I do that? Because I saw it online. I'm like, that's so
Yes.
weird. So yeah, but that's another thing, going back to the brand stuff. I've always come from a place of misinformation. It's something I've always talked about online.
Yes. I think that's
Yeah.
something we have in common. I think why I
Yeah.
identify with your content so much is because misinformation drives me absolutely bonkers.
Right. I'm
Like, I
right.
can't.
Yeah, yeah. It's too much. And especially because a lot of people are like, it's just makeup. It's been my whole life since I was 16. Just
Mhm.
makeup has been like a whole career, my whole
Yeah.
life. So yeah, it's deeper
Yeah.
than it should be for me.
Yes. Well, yeah, and that makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So in that same vein, do you see, like, is there anything you see online kind of like that that brings you joy? That where you're like, you look at it and you're like, "Yes, you get it. You understand. We're making progress here."
Yeah, I'm gonna sound really old now. It's seen the younger people, the younger generation say things like, you can't do this or you can't do this, but this is how I try to do this.
Mhm.
Okay, now we're getting back into that space of, we're being a little bit more realistic, because I felt like we were getting there on YouTube. Almost. I feel like we were so close to being a little bit more real, just a tiny bit, and then suddenly COVID, TikTok,
yeah.
and then it all got a little bit back in time again. But when you see that like TikTok generation say things like, this isn't possible, or this is how this looks in natural light, or here I am with a filter, here I am without, it's a little bit more like, okay, let's lean on that a little bit more. Yeah, or when they start to do things that aren't like clean girl. I'm waiting for a Gen Z to do a cut crease and
be blown away by it.
Exactly.
Look how good
I'd be
this
like, this
looks.
is a cat crease. Exactly.
And
I
they
can't
call
believe
it like a fishing line look or something like that.
Hailey
Like,
Bieber eye shape. Yeah. Yeah,
they
something
make
like
up some new name for it.
Exactly.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. So do you see any improvement in that? Like do you see anything that like is getting better? Like, are they getting it, or you feel like they've still got a long way to go?
I still feel like there's a long way to go,
Yeah.
because even online now you still see it's that need for the way to get attention now, and thankfully not on YouTube, we don't have to do it as much, is by getting people in that 1 second, by doing something crazy or saying something crazy or having the fix for a problem in that 1 second is the only way you're going to get your content seen. So
Right.
it's kind of a like, do they want their content to be seen or do they don't? So it's not that I understand it, but I can see why nobody is going down certain route.
People are rewarded for those quick videos with that give
Yeah,
misinformation.
right. You're like, I'm burning my face off, and then you're gonna watch for
Yeah.
a few minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So the new people that are coming in and they're just getting into makeup, or maybe they don't have a lot of experience, they could be young, they could be old, like anybody, if they're just getting into makeup and they're looking for brands that they want to try and they want to
Yes.
get into some brands, are there any brands that you use that you're like, yes, this is a great brand for you to start with that overall has pretty good products?
You know who I really, really like? Beauty Bay. For the people, they have really great staple eyeshadow palettes that are affordable, and you can get like a whole kit of palettes if you want to, for yourself, for your professional kit, and really, really amazing quality. Like, they're some of my favorite formulas ever. They do eye pencils, they do lip pencils, they do lip glosses, they do the staples and the basics. So that's a great starting point. And then someone like Blend Bunny, who I absolutely love, if you want to go a little bit higher and get that more better, is that even a phrase? A better quality, and then some more choice in vibrancy and more choice in collections. They're a great one to go for as well. They're two brands that I love, where I like everything from them. Everyone else, I'm like, I could take this, I could leave that from each brand. Yeah.
That's such a great suggestion. I've never tried anything from Beauty Bay.
You will love
Never
the
once.
eyeshadows. They're so soft, and they
Ah,
just work all the time.
mm.
And they occasionally do like, you have all 30 of our eyeshadow palettes for $30, and it's like, yeah, I will. They do really
Oh
great
my
sales.
gosh. I will definitely have to
Yeah,
check that out. And Blend Bunny,
they're really good.
I tried them because I did a piece on Blend Bunny and the
Yeah.
situation they got them in with that grunge palette.
Yes.
And the
Yeah.
owner contacted me and she offered to send me one of the grunge palettes, and I about
Oh,
freaked out. She's such a
yeah.
sweetheart. Did you
She's
see that she's
amazing.
doing the sub brand with Jordan Liberty, the makeup artist Jordan Liberty?
Yes. Yeah.
Just as a
Yeah.
side, I'm so excited for
Right.
Jordan
So
Liberty.
yeah, I know, me too. So I actually spoke to him because he did the shoots for my collection, for the
Mm,
divination collab. So I was speaking about it, and he mentioned his kind of thing, but didn't give me the full details. So
okay.
now I'm just like, okay, I really want to see Jordan Liberty, incredible makeup artist,
Yes.
artist in general. With Blend Bunny, I can't wait. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be so
Jordan
good.
Liberty has needed a moment for a while. Like, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
he's been one of those people that has been consistently not problematic, like just doing
Right,
his thing as a makeup artist,
right.
being
Mm-hmm.
professional, just the nicest person. I had the opportunity to meet him at an
Yes.
event back in
Oh,
like
no way.
2015. And
Yeah, yeah.
I'm at this influencer event. Nobody, like there's all these huge influencers in there. Nobody would have spit on me if I was on fire. Like it was like one of those things where nobody knew who I was. Like it was
Yeah.
just I had maybe 15,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers. Nobody knew who I was. Jordan Liberty was so nice to me. Like he like knew that I was like, I don't know if he sensed it or whatever, but he like came up and was like dancing with me and like he would like gave me a hug. I
Oh,
was like, oh my gosh. Like then
that's
I
so
have a soft
nice.
spot for Jordan Liberty. So this
Yeah, I
is
can see
like
why.
building me up. Like I'm so
Yeah,
excited for him. And I'm like, I am going to shout this brand from the rooftops because I know it's going to be amazing
right.
between the two of them.
And
Come
everything he
on.
does is incredible. When he had that collection with Sigma, do you remember he did that Sigma brushes?
Oh, I forgot
It was one
about
of my
that.
first PRs I ever got. And I
Wow.
still have one of the brushes hanging around. I still have
Oh
all of
my
them, but one of them
gosh.
I adore. It's, yeah, incredible.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be watching out for that. And like
Right.
one of the things I was just saying about how Jordan's like has not been probably like he just kind of stays in his lane. He does his thing. He's professional. All that.
Mhm.
There are definitely brands that have either for one reason or another they've gotten themselves into some mess or they just put out really bad quality products and you've tried them and they're just like, "Whoa," like I cannot
Yeah.
even trust this brand anymore. Like if you were somebody who's just coming into the space and they're like, okay, so give me the red flag brands, either for one reason or another. Maybe they just all consistently poor quality, or they're just owners really problematic, or like what are the ones that
Uh-huh.
stand out to you where you're like, I would recommend, this is just my opinion, but these are the ones that I personally am not into.
Where do I begin? I think the list of what I would use is shorter. So obviously, Tarte, Too Faced, I wouldn't touch
Wow.
at
Tarte that
all.
bad for Tarte?
I don't like Tarte at all. I actually get
Ah,
Tarte and Too Faced confused sometimes because they're both so beige. Um,
true.
I have this like love-hate relationship with Dior where I really like some of their products, but at the same time, I find a lot of their like eyeshadows are incredibly expensive for like 4 eyeshadows. Beauty Bay's formula are better. So it's usually like the high-end fashion house brands where I'm like, use with caution because some of their products are great, but then the rest of them, you're like, well, I just spent like $50 on this lipstick or whatever. I don't even know what's expensive anymore for a lipstick. The prices are so crazy. And I don't like it or it doesn't
Yeah.
work. And it's like, I don't know what to do now. So it's the fashion house brands I would approach with caution. Yeah.
Yeah, so interesting. And then, of course, I'm sure there's a list of many problematic brands as well. But like as
So
far as
many.
the ones that you wouldn't
Yeah.
invest in, and you're like, this is just not worth the money overall.
Yeah, yeah. There's
Yeah.
some that are really some like iconic products that people love so much, and I've used them, and I'm like, is there something wrong? Am I not getting that feeling? But and I've tried them again and again, and I just don't
Mhm.
understand it. Sometimes I think
Yeah.
it's hype, and sometimes I think I spent my money. I should probably like this, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I think also they'll invest in packaging that make you
Uh-huh.
feel like you're pulling out something luxurious. Like I got one of those advent calendars and it came with a La Mer lip gloss.
Oh,
And it's this
yes.
most beautiful packaging.
The one with a little like stick on the top almost.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have it over there because I took it on vacation with me. I don't know where I put it. But yeah, it just feels good to hold on to it. The product inside is very normal. I mean,
Is that
it's good.
the plumping
Yes,
one?
it's a plumping
I know
one.
exactly which
Yes.
one you mean. I got
Yes.
the clear one because of the packaging, and
Okay.
then I
Yes.
used it, and I was like, "Oh, this is like any plumping lip
It's
anything."
normal. But
Yeah.
what would make it better? Like, I don't know what would make it better.
You
It's a
know
plumping lip
what?
gloss. It can only be
Yeah,
that good.
that's it's such a good point, and I think, like, how are you gonna charge so much for something when it's
Yeah.
actually not better than
Yeah.
anything else? And you can't make it better than anything else. Maybe if you
No.
had some unique colors that also plumped or something like that, but no, you're totally right. It's the most normal thing I think I've ever used from, like, a
Yeah.
high-end brand. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's really more just like pulling it out of my bag and being like, "Look at my pretty lip gloss," and that's pretty much the and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think people have to go in managing their
Of
expectations as
course,
far as
that's
that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes down to it. So in the sea of brands, we have brands like Dior, but we also have Beauty Bay, and we have this big wide range of what's offered and the
Mhm.
price points and the packaging versus the quality. There's all these different factors. And I think it's so easy for brands to get lost in that, like just to
Yeah.
try to find a market. And we see
Yeah.
these standout brands like Road Beauty that just came out
Uh-huh.
of nowhere and is now like
Right?
standing out. Like everybody's talking about Road, and there's other
Yes.
brands like that too. How do you think brands in 2025 can cut through the noise and really stand out as a brand?
Yeah, I think brands do this to themselves in terms of fading in and blending in because we have repetition of every single release. A brand will
Mhm.
release bronzing drops, and then every single brand releases their version of that for the next 6 months. And
Mhm.
we get so much repetition in products. It happens with powder foundations, it happened with bronzing drops, it happened with mattifying primers, grippy primers. What is making us see you as different from everyone else when you're releasing your version of what everyone else is releasing? If you and me did a video about what's the brand that's around me, like MAC, and then we both said exactly the same thing, but our backgrounds are different. The same thing in different packaging. Why is that exciting to anyone? Whereas you have brands like Rhode, people seem to love it, Rare Beauty, who release just what they want to release when they do. We haven't had bronzing drops from them. We haven't had all these same things. And they stand out a little bit more because they're offering us something different at the same time everyone else is offering the same thing. And then along with Rare Beauty, for people like me who care about how the brand is, I always say, if a brand was a person, would they be your friend? Rare Beauty donate to charity. They have a little bit more of a calmer aesthetic to them. And I relate to that brand. Why? When you hear something bad about a brand or the owner or the founder,
Right.
you're like, I no longer associate myself with that person like I would in real life. And it's a brand. So when someone's different and when someone's unique in a nice way, there's a bit of humanity to it, then it feels a little bit more like, okay, this is standing out. This brand is, I can see them as a person. Whereas all these other ones is a sea of people doing exactly the same thing. But again, it seems to be working for some of these brands to do the same thing that everyone else is doing.
So how to, like, when we're talking about like bronzing drops, for example,
Yes.
and somebody comes out with bronzing drops, it does well, and then everybody comes out with bronzing drops. What makes the seventh brand that coming out with bronzing drops have that one be a hit versus the fourth brand? Like, I don't, like, that's something I'm still trying to like wrap my brain around.
Yeah. It's
Is it
kind
luck?
of, yeah, I think it is. And I think who uses it and when. Like, I think that kind of business model relies on influencer marketing and who's using it at what time. Whereas everyone else, you don't need to rely on influencer marketing to push your unique product, sell your unique product. So I don't know, this vicious circle of of same thing. Honestly, the PR period of bronzing drops, I was like, I'm never going to use this many bronzing drops in my lifetime, in 2 lifetimes. Who even uses bronzing drops anymore?
Yeah, I tried. I
Yeah.
ended up buying some stuff because I cut off so much PR
Yes.
because I was getting so much, it was getting overwhelming, and it was causing me a little bit of stress because I felt bad, all the waste, knowing I wasn't gonna be able to use it all, figuring out where it was gonna go, organizing it all, making those decisions. It was getting overwhelming, and I was very thankful, don't get me wrong, very thankful for all of the PR.
Yeah.
But at one point I was like, I have to cut this down to the brands that I'm genuinely going to use and let other people be on PR for these brands that they'll actually use it. And I was like, it looks so pretty on other people. So I started buying bronzing drops from a bunch of different brands, trying to find like the best. And I finally found a couple that I like, one that I liked, the In Beauty project that they sent me. That one, that one I actually really liked.
Yeah.
But how often do I now reach for it?
Right? I loved I have the ones from Typology. Beautiful. I loved them. But like I don't bronze anymore so much. So yeah, it's a difficult one. And I have the elf ones. I think I have a drunk elephant one somewhere. I'm not open. They're just ready to go to whoever wants them. No one wants them.
I'm sure that you can find them at home with one of your subscribers.
I'm sure,
and then you have to box it up. You have to go to the post office. You have to pay for the shipping and all that, which is fine. But it turns into a whole thing.
Yes, exactly.
To do all
and
of
then
that,
sometimes they even want your return address. So then you're giving your address to someone you don't know, which is a bit of a scary one.
Agreed. Absolutely. Yes. Especially if you're shipping internationally, it adds a whole nother level.
Exactly.
And I'm assuming a lot of your audience is probably US based, or
the
you have
majority.
Majority is US based. Because I notice when you talk a lot in your videos, you speak in USD and you don't use a lot of you don't use a lot of British like words that are different.
I don't put U's in everything. So I'll write like color like the American version, and I'll just because it's and if it ever switches, then I'll switch back to English. But it's I type in American English and I'll speak in American English as well when I can. Yeah.
Oh, and I'm sure because it probably saves you a lot too to like not have when you say it's 50 quid, like people are like, what's a quid?
Like what you're
talking about seafood? Like what's a quid?
There's some words you just don't think aren't like international, but
because it's in your daily language. And I don't think it's the same for Americans. I think we just assume everybody knows what we're talking about, and usually people do. So I think that's where our privilege comes in that I think that we sometimes forget like that we are not everybody. Like There really
Yeah.
are other ways to talk, and it's perfectly
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah, yes, yeah, very much so.
But yeah, your channel's doing absolutely amazing.
Thank
I remember when
you.
you crossed 1,000,000 subscribers, and I was like, "Yeah!"
Yeah,
I
oh
was,
my
like, so
gosh.
excited for you.
Oh my god, that was a while back now, wasn't
It
it? I can't even
was, but
remember.
well,
Yeah.
I've been watching you a long time, so I'm always rooting
Yeah.
for you, and 'cause I have this, like, connection, I feel like, because I think that I see that we have similar values when it comes to the purposes of what we're doing here, and I
Yes,
think that's
yeah.
why I feel so parasocially attached to you
Right, right.
and your content that you
Yeah.
create. So when you're creating, like, are there any things that you're, like, just really excited to talk about on your channel where you're, like, seeing things and you're like, "I'm so excited about this. Like, I've got to do a video on this." Like, anything you're thinking about, or is it secret?
No, is it really bad to say that I just want people to know things? So if like a brand
Mm.
so I always remember that a brand got is it Hank and Henry
Oh, I
who
remember them.
who did that awful live stream where he was just saying all kinds of terrible things. So back in 2021, some time ago now, a year, I'm sure we all just kind of don't want to. Henry was on Instagram Live. I think he was promoting a new collaboration with somebody. Don't know. Don't care. And I'm not sure what was said. Something was said by someone in the comments, or something happened to make him go into this like obscene, weird as fuck. You'll see, like rant. Okay. Trigger warning, unaliving, racism, asshole behavior. Watch this.
After re-listening to this, I'm actually not going to play the audio for Henry's rants, but I am going to give you a quick summary so you know the context. He tells someone that's watching his live that said something he didn't like to unalive herself. Then he says that he thinks it's fun to say things like that and that he's all about bully culture and that people should not only go find her, but her family as well. He also hopes that ICE deports her. Then he goes on saying many times that he doesn't care if people are offended that he told her to unalive herself. Robert's video, which of course will be linked below, will have the full clip with the audio if you'd like to watch the entire thing.
Saying this, right, let's pretend we have no souls. Let's pretend we are business people. We have no human empathy. We have no souls. What part of this is a good look, a good business move, a good thing to do in general? So his suggesting that people are being too sensitive because they're kind of upset that he told somebody to go kill themselves. If somebody told one of my friends or family to go kill themselves, there would be an issue. But if you own your own business, especially within the beauty community that is vastly inclusive, full of people of all ages, all genders, all races, you know, all skin types, all skin textures, you don't think you should be sensitive and show some love to all kinds of people? It is an extremely bad business move, full stop. And of course, the brand is still around, I believe, still doing their stuff. But this outburst, this horrific outburst, could be the reason why a lot of you will comment down below that you have never heard of this brand.
Yeah.
I did a video and it was like brand founders who are like terrible people basically. And I think I included 4 of them, the Makeup Revolution guy, P. Louise, and someone else.
Yeah.
And it was all the things that they did that they tried to sweep under the rug with playing it off as like, I'm being cancelled. And it's like, no, you were a dick and you were racist or you did something really terrible.
Yes!
Yeah, you've just been held accountable. I just love it when somebody who maybe uses the brand, who say is a member of the LGBT plus community, and they didn't realize that the owner was like severely homophobic and actually gives money to anti-trans bills. I'm just saying things now because I don't know anything about governments. But they find out that the person they're funding is actually against their whole life and even their existence. Thank you for letting me know this. I don't want them to have my money. Because you're literally, and this is why when people are like, you separate the brand from the person, you really can't. Because you're giving them money. So when people are like, oh, I didn't realize that, thank you for letting me know, I'm like, you're more than welcome, because I also didn't until I found this out. Giving your money, and especially being in the position we're in where we're making content, you don't want to be advertising, knowingly advertising these brands to people who you care about. Like, we all have friends who are part of different diverse communities. Why would we want to promote something that's against their whole life?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that when I was an elementary school teacher, it was like that aha moment that you lived for when a kid finally got something. And I feel like that's kind of what it is in this space, where you show something and people have that moment, like, you know, that light bulb moment where they're like, I understand this, and this is something that's not good. And I just learned that. So thank you for sharing that. So as the person who's imparting that information, it feels good to be able to help.
Right, that's it. That's exactly it. And I'm used to helping people with their makeup. That's a normal
Mhm.
thing. But to go that extra bit still in makeup and still be like,
Yeah.
let's be wise about what we're doing in makeup in general overall. Great. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a really good part, and I think that I used to be guilty of doing the whole, "Let's separate the makeup from the person," like, I used to do that. I
Yeah.
was because my whole thing was, and this was logic, I used to think, to be very clear, I don't think this way anymore because reflection and time, you learn things and you
Yeah.
figure things out,
Sure.
but I used to go, "Okay, well, my job here is to review makeup. Some of my
Right.
audience may be interested in this, and some of my audience may not be interested in it.
Yeah.
So I'm creating this particular content for people that are interested, and that's my job as a
Yes.
reviewer." But
Yeah.
the piece that I did not get that you just said, which I think is the piece that a lot of people don't necessarily wrap, either they don't want to or they don't like it, is that when you give somebody your money, you are supporting them and you're supporting in a way their belief system and who they spend
Right.
their money on, and if it's a big brand, who are they
Yeah.
donating to, and
Exactly.
what kind of person are they? Are you
Right.
funding James Charles's lifestyle?
Right.
Like that,
Exactly.
like, do you really want to give your money to somebody that is actively hurting people? Like,
That's it.
actively, like,
Yeah.
and that's a choice. People have a right to
Hmm.
spend their money. They earn their own money. They spend, but having that information out there, I think, is really important. And it's up to people how much they want to separate the makeup from the person. But I think there are a lot of
Yeah.
people that now get it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's not like every hundreds of thousands of people that watch our videos are going to agree with every single thing we say, and we
Absolutely.
don't expect them to. But I may come across very passionate, like I'm saying, you have to believe in this. But it's just my belief, and you get to choose from there what you believe in. So
Yeah.
realistically, not everyone's going to agree. And as much as we want everyone to be like,
Because we
yeah,
think we're right.
let's yeah, yeah, we're like never buy them again. We know that's not the case. We know that's
Yes.
not going to happen ever. But at least they
Yes.
have that information, and maybe one day they might,
Yeah, maybe.
do
And
what
well,
they want with that information.
that reminds me of like the Amanda Ensing video that I did, where she flipped and went really conservative, and
Yes.
that's against my
Hmm.
personal beliefs. But
Right.
there were people coming to the comment section saying, "I'm unsubscribing from you, and I'm going to go subscribe to her because she is the same as what I believe."
Yeah.
Okay,
Go on then. Go on then.
fine.
Oh,
But anyway, what I'm saying is, my point is that it's okay to have different beliefs. Like, not everybody has
absolutely.
to agree with
Yeah.
what we think. People have a right to
Hmm.
spend their money however they want. As long
Right.
as you have the information, then you do with it what you will.
100% educated
Absolutely.
spending. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that it's such a big responsibility that we have here on this platform to be accurate in what we're saying,
Yeah.
and sometimes that can be very difficult, and I know we've both made
Yes.
mistakes in the past, like little things where
Hmm.
we didn't understand something or we didn't have a piece of information,
Yeah.
and then had to come back and be like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that piece.
Hey. Yeah.
So, just so you know."
Hey guys.
So
Yeah.
so how is that for you? Like, what is that process for you when you realize, as someone who really wants to spread the best information
Hmm.
possible, like, how do you handle that when you realize that "Oh my goodness, I didn't know this." Like, what's
So it
that like?
happened to me very recently with Glamlight, where I did a video and it was about brands who did like shitty things, like maybe they were rude to their customers. Because that's another big thing for me. I worked in customer service and retail for a lot of my life. So if I get bad customer service, I'm like, burn the place down. So when when I see like that, I make videos about it, I make comments about it, like, is this who you're paying? There was a situation on TikTok where somebody received some products from them from TikTok shop that were empty. And there was this whole story about how she received terrible customer service. They were rude to her, all this stuff. And there was what seemed like receipts or screenshots from messages. The owner of Glamlight messaged me after I put out that video, as nice as anything. I said she's a bigger person than I would have been, because I've been like, this is the information. You're wrong. She was so kind. She was so nice to me. She was like, I love your videos. I love your content. This is the correct information. And I was like, great. I was like, can I screenshot it all and share it all? And she was like, absolutely. So I did. I made a video like the next week and put everything the right way around. And it turned out that the images beforehand were all manipulated. They were like cropped at certain things, which I should have looked into more, and I should have maybe even reached out to Glamlight before, which is something I would do now before talking about it. But at that time, I was just like, this is terrible. Here's the information in front of me.
Mhm.
Here's what I'm seeing. That's fact.
And to be fair, like it looked like that. Like it was video
did.
evidence. Like it
Yes,
wasn't like
yeah.
it was just somebody here say, "Oh, typing a comment." There was
Yes, yeah.
video, so I could
Video.
see why.
The customer contacted customer service support at 1:44 p.m. on December 9th and told us that she was experiencing issues as some of her lip glosses from the new dessert collection had came less than full. At 3:04 p.m., 3:04, please let that sink in. That's very important that you pay attention to the timestamp. Here are the screenshots where my customer service team responded immediately, issued an apology, offered to give her a full refund. We did everything that any other brand would do in the situation, which is to make it right by the customer. I honestly thought that the situation was okay. We handled it with grace. And then all of a sudden, the next day, I see that I'm being tagged in multiple videos saying, Glamlight blocked me, Glamlight's being shady, Glamlight's so unprofessional. And in that moment, my biggest regret was not being brave enough to stand up for myself, to stand up for my brand at that moment. And literally just all I had to do was just post the screenshots that showcase that customer service made it right within an hour, a little bit less over an hour. And it's crazy because by me remaining silent, I allowed so many people to run off with this narrative. Glamlight's so shady. All Glamlight had to do was issue a refund. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach here some of the screenshots of a public statement that we made a few weeks ago. In addition to issuing the refund, we also had given that customer 18 complimentary lip kits. We refunded her for her other 3 orders. And it's crazy because even after we made it right, she was just telling people, oh, you're just fixing the situation because my video went viral. No, we actually made it right within an hour. The minute you contacted us, prior to you doing any viral videos, we already had done right by you because that's who I am as a company.
And Giselle from Glamlight has talked to me in the past as well.
Yeah.
so,
Look, she's so kind.
She
She's
really
so
is.
nice.
And
Yeah,
she's so
and the fact
passionate about her brands.
right, exactly. And the fact that she was so nice to me as well, because I've had brands not be so nice to me, which I
Yeah,
don't
me
really
too.
care about. I'm not like a brand like kiss ass. The fact that she was so nice to me after that, I was like, respect to that because I wouldn't have been so nice.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
this is the thing too that I love is that you show people that it's okay to go back and say, there was information I didn't know. This is the
Yeah.
new information that you need to know to fully understand the situation. Because I feel like
Yeah.
we were talking about earlier about people being canceled. The reason why is because you were being an asshole. Like it's not
Literally.
because you were just arbitrarily just picking on you. Your behavior that led
Yeah.
to this consequence, and then you see people doubling down on that
Yes.
bad behavior, and
Yeah.
they lie about it, they manipulate, and they figure out a way to like try to hold on to the lie.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like with what you did in that situation is a kind of a perfect example of how to properly handle a mistake and that it's genuinely okay. Really okay. Like you can
It really is.
you
Yeah.
cannot have, because it wasn't like you were wrong. You weren't wrong. You just didn't have pieces of the information.
That's it. That's
You
it. And
know?
I do think sometimes I'm not as like scared to give my personal opinion and get a little bit shitty about it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just I'm a nice
yeah.
person until I'm not, and then until I don't have to be. But and then I don't mind giving my opinion. But it's when companies take advantage of people that really pisses me off. So that's what I saw it as. I saw it as you've had an empty product, they're refusing to give you your money and being really rude about it. Now I'm pissed off. So that was all it was. And then again, I was just so happy she was so nice to me. But it is fine to be like, you know what, I really messed up. Here's the information. This is how I felt before. This is how I feel now.
Yeah. And it's called integrity.
Yeah.
And I wish that integrity was valued more on the internet. I feel like a lot of times that unbothered queen like attitude is what's valued. The I don't care and I'm just going to keep going about my life and upload TikTok videos of me dancing after a scandal, like that kind of thing is celebrated, not just accepted, but celebrated.
Right.
And that infuriates me to no end. Just the flame.
Let me tell you, is this like a generational thing? Is it the young generation who are just coming online who like think it's really good to not be responsible for what you're saying or what you're doing, and celebrating the lies. Like, why do you like being lied to?
I don't
Why
know.
is he
I don't know. I don't get it.
it's so
I
confusing.
don't get it. I
I'm
don't.
I'm same with you. And like, why do you enjoy someone lying to you
Yes.
and taking your money from that? And you're being like, once you've realized I've taken your money, being like, oh yeah, why do you like that?
Yeah. Do you
You
think
know?
it's like rooting for the villain kind of thing? Like when like people think they're
Almost.
watching a movie,
Almost, right?
and it's
I
like
mean,
you're
it's very supportive, but like in
yes,
the wrong way.
yes. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird behavior.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it
I
at all.
don't understand. I don't understand. Maybe that's my age, but I just don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it seems to not be getting any better, like
No, it
at
isn't.
all,
I
as
100%
far as
agree.
and if somebody is like good looking or they're good at makeup or they dance
Mhm.
well or they smile and make a funny joke or they're really good at transitions, that's all that matters.
That's it.
Integrity, just
That's it.
like who cares?
100%. And this is the thing as well. We almost have this like, if we're looking at it from like an influencer marketing kind of a standpoint, you see so many people come and go month and month in. One month, that girl who said that thing on that podcast is famous. Next month, it's that guy who did this, and then now he's gone. If you just had a little bit more integrity, you would have longevity. And I think that's what's missing from I keep
Definitely.
wanting to say the younger generation, but I hate saying that
Yeah.
because I know they're not all the same.
No, they're not. But I think for some reason, I think that sometimes people with integrity will just drop off and they'll just
Yes.
disappear
Yeah, you're right,
instead
yeah.
of coming back. And the
Mhm.
people that don't have integrity will just keep pushing until people forget.
Yes, yeah. No, you're 100% right. Yeah.
And it's so frustrating because I'm thinking about the James Charles stuff that's going on right now. I don't know if you've been paying. I'm trying really hard not to pay attention to it, but
I had to because it's been all this time when I see him so celebrated by people
yeah.
on TikTok, and I'm like, do you know? Like, do you know? Or I'm like questioning, like, are you aware? I'm like, I'm not blaming them because I'm like, you probably weren't even online
Right.
during that era. Are you aware? Do you know? And now this
Yeah.
new drama's coming. Okay, now are people going to bring up the past drama?
Yeah,
It's not just- right, because it's not just drama. This is a pretty serious, for looking like from the point of view of looking at him, it's two things now. We know where he stands on in life, talking
Mhm.
to minors and abuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Well, the minors he confirmed.
Correct.
So that he confirmed. We know that
Yeah.
that's true.
Right. So now we know your stance on both of those.
Right.
Are we still supporting you? Really?
Yeah.
I say we, I never have, but I'm saying all those people.
It's just kind of a mess, and it's really sad. And I think part of it is the short form content and
Yes,
people just the
100%.
flicking, and they don't get that
Mhm.
attachment that they used to with us on YouTube with that long
That's
form
it.
content.
Yeah.
Makeup reviews used to be detailed. You would do wear
Yes.
tests.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
it's just 1 minute long application. This changed my life. And no
Yeah.
one questions it.
But 100%. Everyone it's like, here's a tinted sunscreen and it looks great on me right now. And then that's it. And it's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. And people
It's a
accept
strange
it.
concept. I know. I found it so difficult going
Yeah.
from YouTube to short form because I
Mhm.
was like, how am I meant to say everything I usually say in 20 to 45 minutes into a minute when it
Yeah.
first came out?
Yeah. How do we do it? I think that's why
It's
I haven't
yeah. You
transitioned
can't be
very
that
well at
detailed.
all.
No, I
I
haven't.
can't.
I TikTok, I just can't.
I'm
I can't do it.
trying, but I'm not. It's
I've
like I
given
can't
up.
figure it. I can't do content like that. Like give me
Yeah.
deep dives. Like how am I gonna?
How would you?
It's a
Yeah, how could
2.5 hour
you?
long video.
Yeah. You have to do part 26 of
Yes, I know. Part 26 of James Charles and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. It's just not possible. So I'm still
No.
trying to figure all of that out because I do think that the audiences are very different.
They're very
What
different and they
people
don't cross over very much. So you couldn't
they
send
don't.
the most of your YouTube subscribers to TikTok because a lot of people don't use TikTok.
True.
I don't use it unless I'm posting a video on it because I have to.
Yeah, yeah, I'm the same way. Things change, and I feel like
Yeah.
it's human nature to want to hold on to things being the same. And I
Yeah.
think I've been trying a little too long to hold on to to that.
I know. I'm feeling
And
the same. I'm like, should I? Yeah.
yeah, and it's crazy to see how YouTube as the beauty space and people creating YouTube beauty videos, you see these influencers that used to get easy 1 million views a video. Easy. 1, 2, 3 million views.
Mhm.
And And now they're having trouble breaking 100,000 views, which is still a lot of
Yes.
views. Don't get me wrong. Like
Still a lot.
100,000 views
Yeah,
for me is, I'm
absolutely.
like, yes, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
But to go from 1 million easy
yeah,
to
yeah,
having difficulty with 100,000 views, it's
yes.
so disheartening almost.
Isn't it strange? It
Like,
is. I feel like I was never that person to get millions and millions of views anyway. I was always at the stage I'm at now in terms of views. But I think it's because people left the platform
yeah,
thinking that TikTok was going to be the be all and end all of social media, when YouTube still gives us the most in terms of what you get back from a social media platform.
yeah.
And but you do have to be consistent. If I don't post for a week, God forbid I take a week off posting on YouTube, I'm very much punished by YouTube for that. So I can imagine in terms of the algorithm, in terms of money even. So I think if, let's say, for example, Nikki's Tutorials, who has left the platform pretty much and then comes back every like 4-6 months, you're not going to get the views you used to because
Right.
no one's expecting it. And YouTube isn't saying, here's this new video. So I think people
Yeah.
kind of abandoned ship when it wasn't sinking. And we're
Mhm.
just like, this is what's next.
That's a good
They,
analogy. The
they forgot
abandoned
where they
ship.
came from.
Yeah, the abandoned ship when it wasn't sinking, I think, is an
Yeah,
excellent analogy. Like,
yeah.
people took the dinghy instead. Like,
Exactly.
they wanted a different experience.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
but yeah, and I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of times, like, if, like, for using Nikki as an example, and some of these creators, that Nikki would get 5-6 million views a video easy,
Insane.
like absolutely
Mm.
wild. But I think that a lot of her audience has probably moved on too. They're just not there anymore to watch. They're just
Yeah,
not there
yeah,
to click.
yeah,
They've
yeah,
gone. So
100%.
it's, how do we recapture a beauty audience on YouTube
You
when
know
short
what?
form is king right now?
Yeah, it's so funny. Even going right back to your question of like what do I like to see? It's when I see people I know from, well, I do Instagram Reels, posting their first YouTube video. And they're like,
Mhm.
yes, do it because you can talk more, you can get into it more. That's what I
Yeah.
really like. It is difficult because the attention spans are still getting less and less. There used to be a rule on even on YouTube where you had to change something on screen, even if it was just crop in, crop out every 20 seconds. But it was no, do it every 10 seconds, every 7 seconds, every 5 seconds, just so that attention span for a long form content video is subconsciously being, what's the
Visually
word?
different, like
Yes,
visually. Yeah.
yeah. So that's why you notice in a lot of videos, it just crops in slightly, crops out slightly. Maybe it will zoom in a tiny bit, zoom in, zoom out. I don't know yet. And I just really hope there is a way that long form can become something again, just in terms of education and in terms of reasoning and people getting their point across.
Yeah, the
Because it's,
value of
yeah,
that education is so
right.
immense. It's
Yes.
wonderful, the value of that education. I had somebody
Yeah.
come on, I forget what video I showed. Oh, it was the Too Faced video when I showed Stephanie Nicole from back in the day, and she was doing
Yes.
finger
Oh.
and brush swatches on her arm
Yes, of a Nikki palette.
of the
Yeah.
Nikki palette. And
Mhm.
the person was like, I've never seen someone swatch with a brush before. And back in the day, we used to all swatch with a
They
brush.
were in depth. Yeah.
Like, they were all in depth. That was what we all would do because the brush
Yeah.
swatch was such a better representation of how it would apply to the skin when
Of
you're
what you're
using a
actually doing.
brush.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it really told a good story. And I think that that's
Yeah.
kind of been lost because people just wanna know, is it good? Is it not good? And they don't care why.
That's it. It's all too fast. You can't get good information
Right.
that quickly. YouTube is still my search engine. I will go onto YouTube and search for anything I need to find out. I can't do it on
Yeah.
TikTok. And even if you go on
Yeah.
Google, TikTok results come up first now. I don't want to watch a 1-minute video about how I'm going to fix the electricity in my house. I don't. I need an hour.
That is how you die.
Exactly. And a lot of the time, it's not even useful. There's
Right.
so much misinformation on TikTok, from
Yeah.
makeup to recipes to news to politics. It is anything you try could go horribly wrong.
Yes, and circling back to what you said at the very beginning, you're learning these makeup tips so quickly, and it
Hmm.
may not even be good for you. There's no time to
Yeah,
explain who is this good
yeah.
for.
And you're not given other options.
Yeah, because there just isn't enough time to do that on short form. So
Right.
I think this is my prediction. I think it's cyclical. And I think everything comes back again. Like makeup
Yeah,
trends, they go out, they come back. I
yeah,
do think long form will come back once people get
yes,
tired of the
yeah,
short. I
yes,
that's my hope. And I know that if people that are watching this video are watching on YouTube. So we're
yeah.
not talking to you because you're
No, of
here,
course. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're talking about the group of people that have left YouTube and that haven't come back because they enjoy the short, quick information,
Yeah.
not the people that are currently on YouTube. Because
Right.
I know that
Exactly.
there are a lot of people that still love that long
Yes.
form, but I'm hoping that the masses will
Yeah.
eventually begin to value like those details and how important
I
they are.
really hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because I think those details are important. And that was kind of why I stopped doing those in-depth reviews. I used to do all like the ingredient analysis and all
Uh-huh.
of the swatches and all that stuff. And I
Yeah.
realized how much work those videos were, and the views just started just going down, down, down. And I was
Right.
like, this is too
Right.
much work for people to
Mm-hmm.
like
For
be.
people not to watch it. And
Yeah.
that's even a thing with tutorials. Nobody watches tutorials anymore. As much as I would love them to, it's just
Yeah,
not a thing.
exactly.
So if you can educate in beauty in some other way, and
Mhm.
that's a trend at the moment. So let's hope. I'm hoping tutorials come back as well
Yeah, but one thing that you do
someday.
that I love is that you'll talk about things while doing your makeup. And people can,
Yeah.
even though you're not doing a tutorial, people can still watch you and you can still
Yes.
teach people makeup techniques, even
While
though you're
still
not
doing.
verbally
Yeah.
saying it. So you can still
Yeah.
get that engagement from the topic and people can still learn from you. And I love
Yeah.
that. I
Thank
love
you.
that. And I think that
Thank
that's
you.
something that really brings people to your channel, is that you are so incredibly talented with makeup.
Thank you. Yeah.
And yeah, it's cool. I know I learn from you like a
Thank
lot. I feel like part of the reason why I feel like I've gotten a little better at my makeup application is from watching your channel and a couple other channels doing the makeup. And it's like,
you. Yeah.
oh wait, I
Thank
really
you.
need to blend a little more.
Right.
I think that was always like the curse for me, is my patience with blending and just like,
Yeah, because
yeah,
you need to blend.
you need to
Yeah.
blend. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it looks fine,
It's
like,
fine.
you
I just
know,
tap it in and we're good.
yeah, we're good. We're fine. And now, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But I feel like there's so much knowledge still in your head as far as
Mm,
that stuff that just isn't getting out there makeup application wise, because the
yeah.
audience isn't there for you to share it.
Yeah.
So it's almost a shame, because it's not just you, it's a lot of makeup artists out
Yeah,
there that have
100%.
so much knowledge here that could be
Yeah.
so valuable, but because the
Yeah.
audience interest isn't there, it just stays here.
Right. And
And
it's
it's so
it's it's
sad.
on short form, but a lot of the people this is gonna sound so terrible. A lot of the people giving that advice are not not that non-makeup artists can't give advice, but
Yeah.
they're giving advice that actually isn't good sometimes. I know we said like a lot of the time things work for people and some things don't, but there's also some things that just don't work in general.
Mhm.
And a lot of the time that's the advice being given scientifically in terms of formulation and texture that just can't work. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of advice being given because it's that quick. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but that's great
Yeah.
content for you too. Like, you used to do a ton of
Yes.
React videos back in the
I
day.
did. So I don't do reaction videos as much anymore, only because it's hard to put in short form content, but physically the
Mhm.
screen in general, but also as well because of that. I think what short form content has brought in is the fact that when people consuming this content, they're like, "This is fact and this is all correct." So if I put something out, actually, they're like, "No, you're wrong." I'm like, so so my knowledge is incorrect because this 12-year-old has told you that covering your face in aloe vera gel before you do your foundation is a good idea. So I'm just like, and I'm not doing that fight. I am not doing that fight.
Yeah, I heard somebody say somewhere, there's no point arguing with someone that is determined to misunderstand you.
Right, exactly,
It's just,
exactly.
why? People on
Yeah,
the internet are gonna people, and sometimes you just gotta let
exactly.
some of them go. You can people over there, I'll people over
Yeah,
here, and it's
yeah.
fine. Like,
Yeah.
oh my
And
gosh.
it is very much a thing as well of this like makeup has no rules. And I always say in my videos, creativity and individuality have no rules, but makeup
Yes.
has a theory. And that's what I focus on. And how do you express that to people without saying that what the makeup they're doing or the tip they have given actually might not work? It's a
Yeah.
very fragile line to cross in terms of short form content because it's a lot of younger people and they've obviously spent time putting themselves out there online. It's not like I'm reacting to a celebrity or one of those Vogue things or an influencer who has been on the platform for years and years and years. So it's a
Mhm.
difficult one.
It
It's a
is,
difficult one to go
it's
back
so
into.
difficult. I had done
Mm,
a video with Michelle Wong, who has that Lab Muffin Beauty
yes.
Science,
Yeah, yeah.
and she was saying something very similar, where a piece of misinformation can take
Hmm.
10 seconds to give, but to explain why that misinformation is wrong takes 10 times or more longer
Exactly,
to. And
exactly.
people that understood that 10 seconds don't wanna listen for
What
5
that's
minutes.
it. Mm-hmm.
to why
Mm-hmm.
that 10 seconds was wrong.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's like a struggle that she's always fighting with, is to
Yes.
explain it in such a concise way that people with those that expect that short form, how that they can digest it.
And this is how I see it as well, quite literally. For her, it's you have these children online arguing with a doctor.
Yes.
And what is happening? Why is that
Why
happening?
are you
Imagine
liking
going
this?
to see a doctor and they're like, you have a terrible disease. And you're like, no, no, I drink chicken broth. I can't possibly have a disease. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, and yeah, that's kind of the way I feel about, like, Dr. Dre, who's a dermatologist,
yeah,
and
yeah,
well, Michelle's, like, a doctor of, like, research and sciencey stuff.
right.
I
Mhm.
kinda get that, but, like,
Yeah,
when you're, like, a legit doctor and you're like,
yes,
"I see this all the time," like,
yeah,
"Can you not? Because this is
yeah.
not how skin works." Like,
Right, right.
I
And then people are reading
understand
through those comments and
yes.
taking in that misinformation from other people too.
Yes,
Yeah,
and as a makeup
yeah,
artist, you look at it and it's, like, clear as day that what they're doing
yeah,
is either edited
yes,
or it only works for
uh-huh,
them because they're 15,
yes.
or you know this,
Yeah,
but people
but
are
it's
like,
that thing again of like people look at makeup as like a vanity thing or like
yeah,
just a hobby, whereas for a lot of people it's a very intense skill. That's why we have professional makeup artists who do certain things. We have makeup artists who are face painters. I can never paint a face, I can never body paint, but you have people who are extremely professional in one genre. And it's but I think people look at makeup and beauty as unnecessary or not as intense because it's vanity or it's
yeah.
cosmetic. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kinda I think for people that get it, a lot of people put on makeup because it makes them it's fun, number 1.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
fun to do, and also it makes people feel confident, and it makes
Yes.
people feel
Hmm.
good, like,
Yeah.
to go out and know that you've just really done something cool, and you've done
Yeah,
something to
and
make your face look
it's
a certain
not
way that makes you
just
happy.
that's it. It's not just always I look different. I created this shape, and can you
Yes.
see how amazing that lifts my eyes? I did that shape. It's not I changed myself. It's I created this look, and
Yes.
I think that's what there are still, of course. It's very difficult in makeup because there are still brands that prey on people's insecurities, but at the
Right.
same time, people have chosen makeup as their hobby and as their skill and as their art form, and that's a
Yeah.
more modern way, I guess, of looking at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely, and I think that there are a lot of people probably watching this get it, but there are a lot of people that still
Oh
don't
yeah.
get it, unfortunately, but that's why
Mhm.
we're here, is
Exactly.
like, give that information, and speaking of
Exactly.
that, why
Yes.
we're here, some of my subscribers may not know, and maybe this might be their first interaction with you for somehow, I don't know
Yeah.
how, but somehow. How do people find you on social if they want
So
to follow you?
I'm pretty much everywhere. So YouTube, you can just type in Robert Welsh, makeup artist. It's either me or knives come up. So I'm the makeup artist one. And then YouTube, not YouTube, Instagram is Robert WLSH, and same on TikTok if you want to find me on TikTok. But I also have a beauty blog called Brushed Up Beauty, and that's on Substack.
Oh, wonderful.
Mhm.
I'm thinking about getting
Yeah.
on Substack. I don't
It's
know.
so much fun. I
I've
didn't think it
heard
would be
it's
fun
great.
because I'm dyslexic, but I have
Mhm.
Grammarly, which corrects everything. It's really fun. It's really good. I think
Okay.
you'll be great at it with the research you do and all that kind of stuff. You'll have some really
Okay.
great things to put on there.
All right. Well,
Do it.
I'll
Do
have
it.
to look into
Yeah.
it. You're inspiring
Yeah.
me. You're
It's
inspiring well,
great.
and you
It's such a good
inspire
time.
a lot of people. So
Thank
thank you so
you.
much for coming on to
Pleasure.
live
Thank you for
chat.
having
I
me.
appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
And it was great to finally like speak this way,
I know, person
person to person,
not
instead
just
of like through
messages.
DMs and all of that. And yeah, thank you again for being on live chat. I really appreciate you. I'll
Thank
talk
you
to you
so
soon. All
much.
right. Bye.
Bye.